We're here with Bobby Rowland. Did the wonderful artwork for the new Old Ironsides CD, The Path of Madness. We're going to talk a little bit about how we met and the process of how the art got designed and the ideas, how they came about, and pretty much everything that we had to go through together here. So, but we met through a friend of a friend,
yep,
sort of thing. And Tyler, whose face is actually the one that you used to model everything after,
yeah,
for the most part, which actually kind of ended up looking quite a bit different than him at times, but sometimes.
I think each one is kind of like, you can't really.
A little different.
Yeah, he's more or less the mold.
Right.
Shaped it for each one. So.
Cool. So, like, maybe talk about a little bit how you decided, like, the direction you wanted to go with the art. There's definitely a big story behind that. The idea that you had going, there was like a book that.
Oh yeah. It was weird. Well, yeah. There's a book by H.P. Lovecraft, old writer, probably one of the best horror writers of all time.
Oh, it was horror.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, okay.
And he wrote short stories.
Gotcha.
Have you ever heard of Call of Cthulhu?
Oh,
Metallica song.
Yeah.
Like, well, it's not based on the Metallica song, but that's that's him. That's H.P. Lovecraft.
Okay.
So,
and the title of it was kind of like funny when you told me that it was.
Well, it's
The Road.
It's the Road to Madness.
The Road to Madness.
The Road to Madness. And earlier that day too, the same day that Tyler called me, told me, I had skimmed through that same book. I was like skimming through it and looking through it.
And that book like played a role earlier on when you had this concept of like.
Well, way earlier.
Art,
I mean,
right?
It was back. What I had mentioned earlier, the thing that I was kind of going through. There was multiple times, that I had looked over at this book and ironically thought, well, I really am going, going crazy.
Yeah, well, so it's funny because like you had this concept for the art, right, which is basically what ended up being the album artwork.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, probably the idea evolved.
Yeah.
But and then there was this book that during that time you came up with the idea that then later became the album artwork.
Yep.
There's this book that you were reflecting on and paging through at times, right? Called The Road to Madness.
The Road to Madness.
And it's just so odd because the album's The Path of Madness, and the album artwork that was inspired by that period of your life, where that book was a part of, later came back, and everything kind of resurfaced again together. And at the same time, we had this project going, The Path of Madness.
Exactly.
Just matched up like in times.
Yeah, and it was. I mean, there was just a lot of weird coincidences about it because it was literally all earlier that day. I had been thinking like, God, I really want something because I didn't have any inspiration at the time, and nothing was kind of kickstarting. I mean, I had ideas floating. I just wasn't working as much as I wish I had been.
Yeah.
And then Tyler called me up and
the next thing you know, you got fucking 7 paintings.
Yeah. So it was cool, and it
6 paintings, right?
And it kind of made that idea. I mean, it definitely wasn't exactly what my idea. I mean, it was supposed to be one big painting.
Yeah, right.
So to kind of see it turn into different ones is cool. So.